What is shaking, y'all? It is episode 75, Golden Mike Live. Aicha Bascaro is here today. We're going to talk about something I can't wait to talk about. We're going to talk about what makes a successful franchise. We're going to be telling stories. We're going to be having a lot of fun because right now, Aicha, you look like you're in paradise and I'm in a bedroom. So, like, I am not happy about this, but where are you right now?
I happen to be in Paradise Island, Nassau, Bahamas.
So, are you tuning in for work? Or like, are you at work right now? Or what's going on?
I am. My husband had a work trip, and so I said, look, I'll tag along, but I'm doing work. So he said, okay, as long as I have the company, let's do it. So I'm doing work here.
This is the life, people. This is the life. This is the best when you can become an entrepreneur and you're still doing work in paradise, right?
That's right.
Like, so good not to be going into an office at 24/7, 9 to 5 every single day, and you're getting work done. Congratulations to you.
4 years ago, I was in a corporate world, going to that 9 to 5.
And we're going to talk about that. I want to know your story. Your story. We met while I was writing Beyond Resilient, and you were finishing your book, Franchise Fix. Jorge, it's good to see you. Jorge coming in from Puerto Rico.
Ooh, Puerto Rico.
Good to see you as always, Jorge. Best in the world, brother, giving love to both Aicha and I. We're going to talk about everything today. We're going to talk about the stories. We're going to talk about the success. We're going to talk about the growing moments. And we're going to talk about why Aicha is so passionate about fixing franchises. She is the coach that fixes franchises. So, I didn't even know my franchise was broken until I met Aicha. I didn't even know I had a franchise. So we're going to be talking about all of that today. In case you haven't met me, my name is Marc Cordon, founder of the Make Money Coaching Program, and also at the same time, positive psychology coach, which means this: scale of 1 to 10. How happy are you feeling today? Aicha, how happy are you feeling today in paradise? Scale of 1 to 10.
How about a 10?
I could see that. How
can you get any better than this, right?
I don't know. So I guess my question for you is, what does an 11 look like?
I don't know.
So the next quick question I have for everybody is this: scale of 1 to 10, how much do you feel like you're living in your full purpose today? Right? So I'm going to ask you too, Aicha, how much do you feel like you're living in your full purpose out there in paradise?
You know what? I am a 10 today. I mean, it's the story of my life, which I'm sure I'm going to share with you soon, but I'm a 10, and that's the story of my life.
I love it. I mean, you can be living in your full purpose and still be in paradise. How amazing is that? So for those of you who are living life in your full purpose and you are happy as hell today, like Aicha, I want you to put your hands up. Aicha, I want you to put your hands up with me in paradise. Give Aicha and I some hearts. Let us know that your heart is beating and that you're alive. Your heart is pumping, that you are happy and you're living life to its full purpose. Christina Calabria, I see you, Christina, giving us some love. It's good to see you, Christina. Give us some love. Now, this is the other thing, though. If you think that life is constantly about 24/7 happiness, 24/7 fulfillment, you need to think through this. That's not what positive psychology is about, y'all. Positive psychology is about the ups and the downs of your life. It's and the all-arounds as well. You might be waking up and you're like, you know what, Mark? Like, last summer I was doing really good in terms of my happiness. I'm not so happy right now. I don't feel happy. That's cool. The other thing, though, is you might be feeling like you've been living your life to full purpose for like years of your life. You might feel like in your corporate job right now, you've been living your full purpose, but in the last month, you've been saying, there's got to be more to life than this. I feel like I'm out of purpose. That is part of your life. That is part of living the dream. Your heart is beating just like Aisha's just like mine. Just give us a thumbs up. You're on your hero's journey. This becomes your book. This becomes your speech. This is something that you're going to use to inspire yourself and others in the future. Give me a thumbs up and let me know that you're living life at its fullest right now. Oh yeah. Or you can do it like Aisha does it in Paradise. You can weigh them up, weigh them up and weigh them down. Now here's the last thing. Yeah, Aisha, I want to see you do this in Paradise. You have no choice. If y'all, whether you're up, whether you're down, whether you're all around, this is the question that I have for you. This is why I do the work that I do as a positive psychologist. If you're hopeful, if you're optimistic that tomorrow is going to be better than today, even if today's a 10, whether today's a 1, you're still getting out of bed and you just know that tomorrow is going to be better than today. Life will always continue to get better for you. That's called optimism, and it takes you a long way. Right? Aisha's giving me that. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I want that for you today.
Oh, show the shirt again. Let me get rid of your... Oh, that's amazing. Stay positive. Exactly. If you're staying positive and you're working hard, or you're working your fulfilled dream right now, there's another button down there. There is another button down there. Christina, Jorge, everyone watching the replay, I want you to hit this other button if you're optimistic about the future, and Aisha's going to do it with me. Give me a big old wow face from Paradise, Aisha. Oh, explosion wow face. It's like a wow face heard around the universe. Ooh. So given all that, we're going to talk about fixing these franchises. We're going to be talking about management skills. We're going to be talking about these wonderful things that you can apply even if you're dreaming of starting a franchise. Aisha's here to set things right for those of us who have big dreams and want to move forward on that. But before all of that, Aisha, I just want to know, what is your story, sister?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I am a little girl from the sidewalks of Guatemala City in Guatemala. My mother is from Guatemala. My father is Cuban. So I'm half and half. And I was lucky enough to be able to go to the United States to school. And after I graduated and opened a business, little boutique that failed miserably, I decided, okay, what job can I do that is easy, that I can make some money and have fun in the weekends? I was 21 years old. And then a Domino's pizza driver drives in front of me with a car top sign. And I said, you know what? That sounds like a pretty cool job. I get to drive around, listen to my music, deliver pizzas, and make some money. And that was the beginning of my career in the franchise world. Who would have known?
Now, was this the time when it was like avoid the Noid? Like
yes, avoid the Noid, absolutely, completely, all of that. And then eventually Donnie Domino and Dottie Domino. And,
oh, yeah, Donnie Domino.
Yeah, and then that little monkey guy, I don't remember what the name of that monkey guy was. And yeah, they decided they were smart enough to get rid of that. So
man, they had the most wacky marketing campaigns ever. But I love the Noid. I absolutely love the Noid.
Avoid the Noid. Avoid the
Noid, exactly. And now they're doing stuff with like paving the roads and stuff like that and hot spots. Yep, I mean, these folks are wild with what they're doing.
High tech. It's all, that's a technology company. I'll tell you that it's probably, and I'm just guessing this, but based on the last time I was there, a third of the team members at the head office are IT, for sure.
Really?
Oh,
really?
For sure.
Now, talk to me about what it was like when you were like, okay, I'm going to make a little money. I'm going to deliver some pizzas. I just asked the universe where the hell I should go, and a Domino's pizza went right by me. So, talk to me about working there in Domino's Pizza. What were you learning? What was it like?
And that was the interesting thing. My purpose, my goal was not to make a career out of it. Clearly, my degree was in fashion design and merchandising, so that you know. What happened was that when I got into the Domino's franchise, which happened to be a corporate office, I noticed all of these training systems that they had in place, and they were training people from crew members to assistant managers to managers to eventual supervisors. As a matter of fact, to this day, over 95% of the current franchisees were general managers at some point. It's a requirement for the franchise. And so what I was noticing is that I was looking in the books and learning the things that I did not know when I owned my own business. And here is the corporation teaching you how to run your own business. And I got hooked. So I decided, okay, I'm going to get into the management program. And my original goal back then was to become a franchisee. You have to be a successful manager for a year. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to become a manager. I'm going to be successful. And then I'm going to take the franchise to Guatemala. That was my original goal. But you had to be a manager for a year. And so as I became an assistant manager and a manager for that year, before my year was up, somebody else got the franchise for Guatemala.
So there is a scarcity of those franchises. You can't just like open them up. Okay.
Yeah, in international, especially in international, they only do master franchises, which means one company, one person, one organization owns the rights for the whole country outside the U.S. because it would be very difficult. Yeah, so it would be very difficult to manage them otherwise, you know. So only one entity can own the franchise for each country, and most of them work that way.
Okay, so where do we go from here? I mean, we go in, we're getting these management skills. We've got the dream to take it to Guatemala, and then all of a sudden, someone claims it, right? Someone claims the whole country.
The whole country.
And where are you right now when you find out about this? How far away were you from graduating in the program, by the way?
Oh no, it was maybe 4 or 5 months.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. But things happen for a reason, you know, and I was disappointed for a little while. I remained a manager for another 8 to 9 months. And then somebody said, Aicha, you are bilingual. I speak Spanish. You have a passport. You travel, right? Sorry, they're putting my umbrella up. Thank you.
Paradise, baby.
And and they said, and you're a great manager and Domino's expanding in international. You should apply for an international job. And so I applied for a job. A couple of weeks later, I'm in the headquarters interviewing, and literally 6 weeks after that, I'm in Seville, Spain, opening the first franchise for the country.
So wait, so you opened the first Domino's
in Seville, Spain. Yeah,
I do have to tell you, where is it? It's not here. I have a guitar that I bought in the streets of Sevilla.
Of Sevilla.
Spain.
Okay. So Manuel, it's not my franchise. I am helping the the master franchisee open his units, right?
Okay, gotcha.
Not mine. No, I am working on behalf of the corporation, helping the master franchisee for Spain open his first location.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
No, it wasn't mine.
Okay.
And I wish it was. I don't know.
I mean, in all the times, did you ever think that you'd be in Spain, opening up? It's like
never. I mean, I was a little girl from the sidewalks in Guatemala, right?
Yeah.
Then I was a pizza manager. No, then I was a delivery person, and then I was a pizza manager, and then now in Seville, Spain, opening the first store in the World Expo, right?
World Expo. Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this, because you did talk about, you were growing up, you're growing up in Guatemala. You came to the United States for schooling. Was there ever a point where you were sitting in a corporate place saying, "Wow, this is that much harder for folks that aren't from the United States and women"? Like, was there ever a time that was palpable for you, or you felt that, or was it just like, no, I'm just gonna get this?
I'm going to be honest with you. No, I was just going to get it. And you know what? And I have to give you a story behind it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into much into the details, but coming from Guatemala, for me, it was, and I don't want to get too gray in the conversation, but for me, it was almost like life and death. There's a whole history back there. I was even kidnapped back in the country. And from that day forward, everything that I did in my life was a gift. And so, talking about positive psychology, for me is that anything that I have today, even if it's as little as my shirt on my back, is more than I would have had if something else would have happened, And so for me, when I tell you that I'm a 10, it's just because I have so much to be thankful for, and I love what I do. And so I just feel very, lucky and blessed. And that day, I made the decision that my life was going to count and that I was going to do everything to make sure that I lived to the fullest. And I have.
That's amazing. That is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And it is, do you feel like without those, I'm not going to try to probe too much, but like,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like without those traumas, you would have been able to have that mindset, or do you feel like that was like a necessary blessing?
You know what? It was probably a necessary blessing, but it's
Mhm.
also part of my personality too. I think it's a combination of both. I think, the Cuban side of me, that fiery determination,
You're a bulldog.
like
You're a
I'm not
bulldog.
gonna give up,
Yeah.
that with that other situation together just created this explosion of, I am not going to compromise. I'm
Yeah.
still gonna be loving and caring and giving and, believe everybody's the same as me and I'm great and so they're great, and
Yep.
so I think it's a combination of both. So I think my personality, which was innate since I was a child,
Yeah.
along with that, is what caused who I am today. And as I mature and grow older, I learned to be a better human being, I think, and I'm still learning to be a better human being.
Oh,
But yeah, but I am one that I do not compromise, and
mm.
I love people.
Yeah.
That's it. And
That's
I live the
amazing.
American dream, which it brings me back to the
Yeah.
franchise fix and why
Yeah.
I do what I do is that I got my American dream, my full on American dream in November of 2000 and 2000. November
Okay.
2000, I got my full American dream. And what I call my American dream is I had a family, I had a husband, I had two kids, I had a car, and I had a house with a living room and dining room and a family room in the back. And that for me was a full on American dream since 2000 November. Ever
Okay.
since then, everything I got is like this, is like beyond. Like really who I am to be, working, being interviewed by the awesome Marc Cordon in
Oh,
Paradise Island, Bahamas. Who am I? What have I done to deserve this?
yeah.
I don't know, but yeah.
Well,
It's,
I'm curious to ask you this. November 2000. Let's go back there, right?
mm-hmm,
Um, you're looking around. You're looking around in November 2000, and you're like, "This is it. This is it.
that's it.
This is everything I've ever wanted in life." So
That's it.
it's almost 20 years after that,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
you've you've achieved things that most people dream about, who have already achieved the American dream.
Right, right,
So,
right.
so what what was the impetus to keep you moving? Because a lot of folks can say, I got the American dream and I'm just going to stay here for the next 18 years until I retire.
Right.
What pushed you to do things like the franchise picks? I mean, you're writing books now. And the books are getting translated in multiple countries. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to Mexico. You know what I mean? You're blowing
Yeah.
up in a bunch of countries because of this.
Yeah.
What kept pushing you?
Are you familiar with the hierarchy of Maslow?
Yeah.
The hierarchy of Maslow. You know how when you're surviving right down here and then you're achieving and you want all that recognition and eventually it's just about being able to leave a legacy and help others, hand up. For me, it's about excellence, doing the best job every day, no matter what, and seeing how much of an impact I can make in others. That's the game now. For me, that's the
Yep.
game, and I know that the way that I could do it, I became really good at understanding the business of franchising and the franchise management and even the franchisor side, because I worked on that side for many years and I totally understand that machine. And so I figured, you know what, if that's what I'm an expert on, this is where I can make the most impact,
You
And
know
I
what
see,
oh,
yeah, and
sorry to cut you off.
I can help franchisors. There's hundreds of emerging franchisors that I could help. But many of them, the majority of them had the resources to find the people to help them. A lot of the franchisees are left on their own. And so I decided, you know what, when you go to all the franchise directories to see everybody's to want to sell something to the franchisor. And I realized, who helps the franchisees? Who helps them keep their American dream?
Mm,
See, I'm
mm,
after keeping them their American dream because when a person buys a franchise, they're buying the dream of business ownership, the American dream of owning your own business, being independent, and have a business that can support their family and their livelihood. And then many times they lose that dream, and with that dream, they lose their all their savings and the investments and the money that they put into it, you know. And so I'm in the business of keeping the American dream alive for others. And I'm a franchisee advocate.
So today's topic is really the idea of the biggest secret in franchising right now. But
Yeah.
I think one thing that you're pointing at right now is maybe franchising doesn't, the original model of franchising is not built to help you with the American dream. Could that be something that is being implied in all of this?
You know, it does help you, but let me tell you what the big secret is in franchising today and always. Okay, the big secret in franchising is that when you buy a franchise, you're buying the brand systems, you're buying the product, you're buying the product and all the recipes and procedures for that product, you're buying the service and how to provide the product and the service and the procedures and the training, how to do that. You're buying the image, right? The logo, the colors, the design. If it's a restaurant, the chairs, the lobby. If it's a car wash, the colors, the lobby, you know, how the whole structure works. You're buying all of that, which takes many, many experts and talent to make that happen. That if you want to do it on your own, the chances of success on your own on a mom and pop business is very, very low. So you are buying half of what you need to be able to build your own business and be successful. And I'm talking about more of a retail scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the franchise gives you half the secret. But the secret is that even though everybody tells you if you buy a franchise, you will get everything you need to be successful.
Yeah.
That is not true. You only get half of what you need to be successful, because the other half is once you have the brand systems, how do you manage them?
So where do you get that from?
You either go to college and get a business degree on business management, or you find mentors that are willing to give you their time and effort to teach you how to do it, or you find a coach like Aicha Bascaro to teach you and guide you through the process on how to manage your franchise properly.
Well, and that's the thing. There's a couple things, right? In terms of mentors, mentors are few and far between, right?
Yeah.
I think when it comes to college, that's getting a business degree, that's a traditional route. You're looking at multiple years of going through the college system, and the college system is not streamlined either, right? It's not built. I don't know if there's you have to kind of go in knowing that you want to create a franchise to be able to extrapolate from it.
Right.
That's a crap ton of debt and loans when you're talking about that, right? But then there's also someone who specializes it, someone who's a mentor coach like you. Melanie Klein's coming in saying mentors are crucial for success, and what you do is coaching and mentoring, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have been able, the way that I help is I specifically just work with franchisees that already have half of the answer for their business, right? They bought into a franchise that gives them a great product, a great service, a great image, right? And once they have that, and then they're still lost, it's because they need the other half. And then so I help the franchisees, and I have these programs that I teach them exactly just what they need to maximize everything the franchisor is giving them. And that way they can make the most money with it.
So where did you even get the idea of maximizing and all that stuff? Did this come from the School of Hard Knocks again? Did it come from you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Remember. I mean, after being a pizza delivery driver, I became an assistant manager. I became a manager, and back then I was already fixing franchises, because when you become a first manager, when you first become a manager, they give you the lowest volume store with the crappiest sales and crappiest product. And the crappiest profits. And so you're supposed to be making it and lifting it. And then once you do that, and I did that in the first one, they promoted me to the next volume store. And then when I lifted and I learned how to figure it out, the first one was marketing. The second one was the people training. The third one was procedures and just implementing, and inspiring the team member to do a good job. I ended up with the highest volume store in Dallas. Okay. And so learning, just implementing and learning, And then imagine when I joined International, I actually literally lived in 14 countries. I opened three countries with a new franchise. That was Spain, Dominican, and Argentina. And I was side by side with those master franchisors. I worked with their teams and their accountants and their people, and I figured out how to implement all those systems in all those countries. I ran a Domino's Pizza in the Bahamas, which is why I'm here. So the franchise Yeah, so I learned all that by doing it and learning from the best, and when I was in the headquarters at Domino's Pizza, I worked for the corporation, and I was reporting to the chief operating officer, seeing not only the company stores but the franchise stores. So I did project with the top franchisees. I learned from them. So I learned all this information from me doing it and from the best franchisees out there in the US and around the world.
So
And all of
literally,
that is in my book. Mm-hmm.
so literally, and we're going to talk about that book in a second.
Yeah.
So it really was not only about sort of the things that you were learning on paper and the empirical evidence and systems theory and stuff like that, but it was really going out and doing and implementing. I'm curious about this because I think so many people are watching shows like this and they're like, "Oh man, it's so easy for her. She's a success story. She must have had it built into her. She had some trauma earlier on, and so she's pivoted on all of that." I'm not the same as Aicha, right? But I'm sure there were some amazing learning moments that, it was like, okay, I just fell flat on my face and I learned from this lesson, right? What would you say has been has been one of the biggest lessons for you in terms of what makes franchise fix, and also your coaching? I guess let's use this term because it's such a nice franchise word. What's the secret sauce, right? Like, what was the thing that you learned in which some people would be like, "Oh, that was a big old hiccup and a failure," because so many entrepreneurs are afraid to fail.
Yeah. And I mean, I fail and win all the time. So I mean, it's so many things, and I think what I have to see is you just never give up. You have problems all the time. Like when I was an international, for example, and I'm in a country and I will be sent as an assignment. You're gonna go to Colombia, and their problem is that they don't have a proper structured training system, and so I will go over there and focus on just that. But then I will look at what other things are missing and I will fix that. And so, I mean, I guess I don't see anything that doesn't go well as a failure, but then you just figure it out how to figure it out. For me, it's a game, like something goes wrong, it's just a way to learn what not to do. And then now you learn what to do. And, so failure happens all the time, but it's a game of clue. How do you then solve it? How do you make it better? And I have to tell you that also one of the things that I think was a secret for my success, a secret sauce for my success, is that every time I took over an assignment or a job, I made it my own, as if it was my business, as if it was my restaurant. What would I do if it was my franchise, my people, my P&L, profit and loss statement? What would I do if it was? And for me, the moment that I landed in that country or took over the franchise or that corporate region, it was mine, and so I give it my love and my care, and I would pour everything that I have learned in my years of experience. And whenever I didn't know something and something didn't go well, I reach out to the best of the best. And most people are willing to share, if you're willing to ask, so.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I mean, you can count it as a failure, or you can understand that this is a growth moment for you. That's one of the things that I'm hearing. And then the thing that I absolutely love about what you're doing too is whatever organization you're coming into, you're treating it as if it were your own. And so you're building in that kind of entrepreneur's mindset that, okay, one day when I'm making the decisions about how to make the changes around here, I will have already had that sort of observational lens, rather than being a sort of a observative passerby, and letting the sort of franchise depreciate.
I had this game, right? So this happened not in Spain, but my second was Dominican Republic. At the end of my Dominican Republic opening, the franchisee, the master franchisee for Dominican, asked me if I would work for him. He offered me a job, all right? And I was like, wow, that told me what good a job I did. You know what I mean? Like, he thought of me enough to want me to stay and work for him. And so what I did is, from then on, and that was only my second assignment, right? So then on, what I said, I'm going to do such a good job that every single franchisee is going to ask me is going to offer me a job. And that was my measure of success. Not my boss, not my reviews, not my pay, it would be that every franchisee would offer me a job. And guess what? Every franchisee did, except for one, and that was only because he was in Sao Paulo and I was in Rio by myself, so he didn't know all the things that I was doing. Because if he had had any idea, he would have offered me a job.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All but one.
Yeah,
All but
all
one.
but one. Yes.
Let's go call that store right now. Let's call that franchise right now. Let's let them know that you are on the greatest show on the internet right now. Let's show them. Melanie Klein is just dropping bombs and connecting with you, Aicha. Check this out. Completely agrees with you. Yes, if you're willing to ask, so many people just don't ask.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. So many people just don't ask. Aicha, why do you think so many people just don't ask?
I think they're just afraid of what people are going to say. I think that they just think that they're going to be dismissed, or I think that that's what it is. Sometimes, is they're afraid of the unknown, the fear of the unknown, but the reality is that I always think, what is the worst thing that can happen? They're going to tell you they don't have time, or don't bother them. I mean, is that going to kill you? No. Is that going to make it that? No. I mean, that is really the worst thing that can happen, right? Nothing else. And so that's how I see it. And there've been people that said no, but that's all right. I move on to the next person. Hey, how can I, how do you understand this P&L thing? Because I didn't get my bachelor's degree in business until I was already a director of operations, having a six-figure income. So I learned how to read a profit and loss statement from all the accountants of all the franchisees that I worked with.
By simply
asking. I sat down with every single accountant in every single country, and that's how I learned. So, and they were for them it's like, why are you asking me? Like this big shot American person, Yeah, they felt honored that somebody was asking them for their knowledge. So sometimes what we miss by not asking is we miss acknowledging the knowledge and power and information that they have. So sometimes asking people, you actually, by not asking them, you're doing a disfavor to them. Disfavor? Is that the word? Yeah. So that's something that I also noticed, that people felt honored that you asked them questions, and they were like, they will give you everything and then some, And so I realized, wow, they want to give.
I absolutely love that. And I think that's one of the things, right? For so many of us who have worked and we've been like frontline work, right? I remember being in higher ed, right? I remember being the frontline guy in higher ed. I was like doing all the programs. And then I worked up and I was at an administrative part, and no one ever asked me questions anymore. And when they did, I was like, let me take you to lunch. Let me do this. Let me do that. It's almost as if that part of me, that passionate part of me that got me into higher ed in the first place, is what I wanted people to do. And that administrator is like, it's what I do now. But like, I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm reading what Melanie is throwing down. Most people are flattered and honored when they're asked. Melanie, are you flattered and honored? Melanie is also in higher education as well in California. She also talks about her relationship with her mentor. My mentor always says, next. I love how unapologetic you are, Aicha. Wait until you meet her in person. Like, Aicha is this loving bulldog. I mean, seriously, you're the perfect mix. You're so loving. And then I remember we were presenting our business plans, and you're like I was like, oh my gosh, this person's so legit right now. So legit. Aicha, I'm telling you, I'm taking notes on this because I do have a dream of opening franchises, and I'm going to call it right now. It's almost as important to me as giving a TED Talk.
Wow.
I want to open a Jollibee Filipino restaurant in Tampa, Florida.
Wow.
I want to bring an In-N-Out burger to Tampa, Florida. And I want to bring a Hungry Howie's pizza to the West Coast. So wow. I just wanted to let you know that, like, those are my dreams. Those are my dream come trues. But like, let's pretend now. Cordon got his Jollibee, his Hungry Howie's, and his In-N-Out burger in all the locations he wants. I got that 50% of that package, right? But
great brands, by the way. Good brands, great brands.
Yay! So you know Jollibee, right?
Oh no, I know Hungry Howie's and I know In-N-Out burgers. I don't know that other one.
Oh yeah,
so, sorry.
Jollibee is like the place to go in the Philippines, and they're starting to open them up in the United States.
Okay.
And there's lines right now. So I'm like, military base here in Tampa, a lot of Filipinos, it'd be perfect. And I love their Filipino spaghetti with hot dogs in it. So it's all, I just want that spaghetti. So this is the thing. Pretend that you and I just opened my franchise, right? Or I'm about to open my Jollibee here in Tampa, right? What are the 2 tips that you have, or more? What are the top tips that you would have for me when it comes to making me a successful franchisor or franchisee? A franchisor? Franchisee.
Franchisee.
There you go. A successful franchisee, and optimizing my place so that my employees are excited, so that they're taking ownership. They want to open their places, and also at the same time, we're delivering top quality service and food and all that great stuff. What are your tips around that now?
First of all, you have to pick the right franchise. I'm not familiar with that one that you mentioned, Jelly. What's the name of it again?
Jollibee, baby.
Jollibee, baby. Okay. So make sure that it's the right franchise, and that the franchise fees that they charge are within line, and that they provide the support that they're supposed to support, so that they are the right franchisor, which not all of them are. Not all franchisors are created equal. Okay. So heads up.
And this is in your book.
Yes,
Okay.
It is in my book. It's right here. So
Look at that book.
Yes, there you go. The first chapter tells you what is a franchise, and what you should expect from the franchisor. So as you are researching the franchisors, go through the book and see, okay, are they giving me this? What are they charging for royalties? What are they charging for marketing fees? What are they charging for the opening? And all of those things, and make sure that they're in line with what I share in my book. Okay. And then ask the tough questions. Are you giving me the training materials? Let me see them, because sometimes they say, oh yeah, we'll train you, and they don't really have the job base to do it. So they take you for 2 weeks. Sometimes they take you there for 2 weeks, and then they dump you. I mean, it's just amazing.
And it's after you've already signed the contract.
And you already paid and everything. Yeah, exactly. So make sure that they're the right franchisor. The very next thing, Mark, is you have to have the right location. Because if you don't have the right location, nothing you do inside, no matter how great a leader, how wonderful people you buy, no matter how beautifully your location is, if it's not in the right place, you're going to fail. So many people call me when they are in the last legs, and the issue is the location, and there's nothing I can do about it at that point. Do you have the funds to relocate? Is a question for me. So, and that's the thing, right? So that it brings me to the next thing. Make sure that you have the funds, right, to back you up, because if you do make a location mistake, and really sometimes is some luck, and sometimes is doing enough research, and sometimes is taking over somebody else's location. But if you have enough money that you can make a mistake and then relocate or change it or update it or fix it, then you can still make it. But sometimes people have enough money to just open that one location in that wrong place, and then that's it. Then they can't move. And then no matter what they do, it's just not going to get any better, because the demographics were there, the visibility were not there, the parking space was not there, the drive-through space was not there. And so people don't come. I mean, think about it. Even if let's say you're a coffee place and you happen to be in the wrong side of the street, you're done. Because people drink coffee on the way to work, not on the way home. So if you're in the way home side of the street, you're done. I mean, it's really
that is so true. It is so true. When I'm driving, I do not cross and especially during rush hour, like I'll be craving some coffee, and I'll just see it on the other side of the other side of the road, and I'm just like, don't want it that bad.
Exactly. Gas stations and coffee houses, criminal. Yeah. So, and I mean, it's just like, and sometimes the franchisors don't have that knowledge. They don't give you that support. They go like, and they don't help you because they don't want to be liable for helping you choose the wrong one, So, so that's the thing. So location. So first of all, the right franchisor, with the right brand system. Second, having the money, right? Then third is having the right locations. And
you walk them through all of this, right? So even if they have that buffer, right?
Yeah, no, I walked, because when I get them, they already are in the location.
Okay, so they're already there. So they may have already franchise fix is for like where I'm at right now, to do the sort of the analysis on sort of where the right
Yeah.
decisions are before I make a mistake of putting the In-N-Out burger in across the street from me.
Yeah, right. And you know what? What's interesting is that all my clients are reaching out to me after they already opened. I wish they reach out to me before they even, when they're still thinking about it, like where you are right now. But
Yeah.
for some reason, they think, because they're still in the illusion that the franchise stores going to give you everything they need. So they still believe that. And so they just hang on to that and hang on to that. So by the time they open and they're running and they're in trouble is when they realize, well, oh, they're not giving me everything I need to survive or to succeed,
So they're
and then
getting frustrated.
that's when they reach for something, and that's how they find me,
Okay, so this is okay. I'm officially signing on as your manager right now, because I have some connections with reality TV shows, and I see you having a show like Gordon Ramsay's.
yeah, the franchise fix.
Yeah, mixed with what is that other?
Yeah, Restaurant
Like
Impossible.
Yeah, like those sort of
or the Prophet.
The Prophet as well. What's the one where they dress up and they're like undercover?
Undercover bus.
Yeah, I want to see you go undercover into franchises and then just start losing your shit on everybody. What is going on here?
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
So you already have it in the works. I can't sign with you as your manager.
No. I don't have that in the works. No, I have. I have to help more franchisees. I
love it. I love that you have that kind of clarity. I love it. So let's talk even more about this. You've got, so now let's talk about tips after you have your brand and your management systems in play. What does it look like then? Because you'd say it's only 50%. So
what happens? So I told you the tips, right? The first one is have the right franchisor. The second one is have them enough money. Then you get the right location. Once you have all those things, right? Now you go into the management systems. And this is what, actually, before you do that, let me talk about the brand systems. Make sure that you do everything the franchisor tells you to do, because they are successful in their brand. They're proven that product, that service, that image, exactly the way it is the right one and succeeds. So make sure that you follow that to a T. Don't be an entrepreneurial guy and try to figure it out on your own and add your own menu, or decide you're going to change the color or something, or I'm just going to do the logo with a little bit of it. No. You follow the brand exactly the way it's proven to be successful, because any little bit of change changes the customer's trust. Okay? Your customers believe that the moment they walk into your brand, it should be exactly the same way as it was in Texas, California, or Mexico. And if it isn't, then they're going to feel they won't have trust anymore. Ooh, this feels different. That product is not what I've seen anywhere else. Ooh, is this the right one? Maybe they don't manage it as well. Trust is crucial for a brand. Brand, the definition of brand? The brand is the promise of consistency.
Yep.
So you have to be consistent in how you deliver the brand to your customers. And that's what you're buying. You're spending all these thousands of dollars to buy that brand. Follow the brand. Okay?
So good.
And so that's the next tip. And then which the brand gives you. Now we go into what the brand does not give you. And that is implement your management systems to make the most out of your brand. So implement your management systems to make the most out of your brand. And so what are management systems? How to hire the right people and keep them longer. How to inspire them to do a great job. How to control and manage your cost of goods, food costs, or whatever you're selling, right? How do you manage your cost of labor and, schedules and inventory, have a salary strategy, all the details on how you manage your cost of labor, how you manage your cash. How do you make sure that every penny that comes into your business actually makes it to the bank? Many times, not all of it makes it to the bank, FYI. And then, how do you keep your people safe, right? And then how do you do a marketing plan a local store marketing plan that actually produces results? The brand gives you regional and national marketing. It doesn't give you local store marketing. They don't go to your neighborhood and go talk to your neighbor. That's your job as a franchisee. So do you have a marketing plan that actually produces results? That is what I give you. I give you how to hire the right people and keep them longer and get them inspired, how to manage your cost of goods and make sure you minimize your waste so that you don't have those costs. How do you manage your labor costs and so that you can minimize waste? How do you make sure your cash goes in the bank? and how to make your local store marketing plan that actually produces results. And that's what I do for my franchisees.
That is so good. That is so good. We've got Janet coming up in here saying, "Go, Aicha." That's all I'm saying too. Janet is, and we're saying it right back at you. Go, Janet. You go, Janet.
You can see how I'm passionate about this, and really, as you can see, it's business. It's just how to manage your business, right? How do you that, and that's a business degree that either you go to college and get a business degree, or you have a mentor that is willing to give you the time, enough time to learn all of those things, or you hire a coach like me to help you through that process.
And I think the thing that, again, just to go back to this, like I fall within that that ignorance. Like, I just thought that it's all inclusive in the package that you pay, right? So when, I have looked at, I know this is wild, but I have looked at franchise fees and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm going to get everything if I just, as my coaching business goes on the rise, like if it keeps going at this route, I can open up my dream franchises, but no, there's more to it. And if I were to purchase something like this without your advice or finding one of these mentors that are out there, and I have no clue how to get in touch with them.
You buy the book, it's all there.
It's all in the book, If I didn't have those things, I think I would be overwhelmed with you talking about the implementation of management systems. So what is your local strategy? I wouldn't have a local strategy,
right.
especially if it was my dream to have it in Tampa, and then I realized that Orlando is really the best place. That will be the best place to have this because so many tourists are coming through, and blah 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 blah. So I think that this is absolutely huge. Okay,
let me give you one statistic, okay?
Okay.
Since you're interested in the food industry, right? So that you know, in the food industry, whether you're a franchise or a mom and pop, the average employee turnover rate is 150% annually. 150% turnover rate. That's the average. That means that you have to constantly, all the time, be hiring and training and coaching and inspiring people. The best franchisees go below 100%. Those are the top notch. They are amazing. People want to work for them and they never want to leave. The bad ones, 200% plus.
Oh, so it's a revolving door. And with that revolving door is money spent on, onboarding, hiring, orientation.
Mistakes, customer service issues, waste, right? And if you don't know how to manage that, that alone can break you.
Yeah, that's huge. So let's talk about this book that you've been holding up. You sent me a link. What is this link? I'm curious. The franchisefixbook.com. What is this, Aicha?
You are so awesome, Mr. Marc Cordon, that I am going to give all of the audience, anybody that's listening to this, a free copy of my book digitally. Awesome. All they have to do is go to thefranchisefixbook.com and they can download my book for free. I'm a franchisee advocate. Anybody that, by the way, this is something that people might not even realize, because even though it says the franchise fix, you heard everything I just talked about, people, cash, marketing, cost of goods. It really is for any small business that has 5 people or more. So if you have any small business that has 5 people or more, believe me, you want this book. I do not go into your product or service or image. That's your brand. I assume you have a good brand. But if you want to figure out how to take care of all this other stuff, my book is also for you. All right. So I do have one non-brand customer, and I do have actually 2 franchisors that I'm working with that convinced me to work with them. But I focus on franchisees. I'm a franchise. And the reason I work for the franchisors is because they are committed to doing it right for the franchisees.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
The only way they were able to convince me. Because other than that, if you're not a franchisor that is going to do it for the franchisees, and guess what? It's a win-win. Because if the franchisor makes sure that the franchisees are good, they're going to be good. People are going to go on and knock on the door, right?
Yep.
So absolutely.
I love what you're doing. Your strategy is really, who you're serving, but also at the same time, in working with the franchisors, there are organizations that are dedicated to the flourishing of their employees and their franchisees. Yeah. And also at the same time, they also know that it will probably improve the bottom line.
Absolutely. Because by the way, the better the franchisees do, the more royalties they collect because the royalties are based on sales. So the better the franchisees do, the more money they make. And so it's really a win-win situation most of the time. And the only time that it doesn't become a win-win, then everybody loses. Which is what happens with some brands that will remain nameless. The moment that one side or the other wants it a win-loss, everything fails.
Taco Bell.
I am not going to name names because I love them
Burger
all.
King.
But that's the thing.
McDonald's. I'm just gonna list okay, no, not Hungry Howie's. Not Hungry Howie's.
A lot of people. I have a lot of people ask me, "What franchise should I buy, Aicha? What franchise should I buy?" And you know what? I don't do that. I don't tell people what franchise they should buy, and I'm telling you why. Because it is such a personal decision, and for me to be able to. With integrity suggest that I have to not only know every franchise possible available for people, but I also need to know that person so well. Not only the personality, how much they know, what do they love to do, what do the family wants, what kind of food. I mean, it's so I can't. That would be my full-time job, and so there's tons of people that do that. Some do well jobs. Anyways, it's Del
Taco. She's talking about Del Taco.
So I think I would just say to choose your franchise, you got to make sure that it is something that you're going to love to do because you're going to do it for every day for a long, long time. and
isn't that probably a tip that even before you were in franchise, doing the franchise work, even before you were probably delivering pizzas, or working with Domino's, you probably had that in you. Like, I need to choose what I'm passionate about because I'm going to be doing that for a long, long time. Aicha,
exactly right.
You are a master in what you do. Congratulations, and thank you for giving out the book. We're going to have you back because I know you've got a couple other projects you've been working on.
That's right.
And when those things come to fruition, I would love to have you back, and I can't wait to see what part of the world you're in next time.
Yes, we'll see.
Yeah, and maybe we might be seeing each other in New York City soon. We'll see. So
Absolutely.
Stick around. You might see Aicha and I together. Aicha, thank you so much. I have heard enough.
Thank you. Yes.
I want everyone to go out. She's been kind enough to gift us the Franchise Fix book. Go to thefranchisefixbook.com right now for a complimentary copy of the book. The book was on the front of Amazon when it launched. I mean, this book.
Yep. #1 bestseller internationally.
Yeah, This book is being translated, and you don't even have to need to own a franchise or even be considering a franchise. You can be in a small business, and this will help you out. I'm getting my copy now. I've heard Aicha talk enough. I want to read it now. I want to read this international bestseller. Now, Aicha, This is why the show's called The Golden Mic. Called The Golden Mic. So I want you to imagine, I don't know where, because you're surrounded by blue skies, but out of the blue sky right now, that a golden mic is now coming down from the sky, and it's stopping in front of you, Aicha. And for 2 minutes, the entire world is going to listen to what it is that you have to say. It's being translated in every language. Everyone is listening. So Aicha, I am now going to flip on your golden mic. What is it that you want to say to the world?
What I want to say is that you should always pursue your dream. It is possible. And the reality is that it might be already there. Don't give up and put on your all your passion and your love towards making it happen, because if it's something that you want, you will do it well and you will be amazing. I never thought that this was something that I would end up doing, but I love it so much. And even though I don't even know how to cook, I am great at food franchises. And why is that? Because it's all about the people and the systems and the management, which I love to do. And I get to do what I love, and I get to help people along the way. So figure out what it is that you love to do, and I guarantee you that you're going to be successful at it, and you're going to have a life of your dreams. So go out there and make your dream come true.
Actually, I want you to take that golden mic over there in the Bahamas, and I want you to throw that golden mic down like it's on.
I have a fork in here.
Aicha Bascaro, I want to thank you again. We're going to have you back. Much congratulations to you, your family. hitting that American dream in November 2000 and pushing past what everyone thinks is this. It's a brand new form of flourishing, and you are a living example of it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Again, the Franchise Fix book is the way to go. FranchiseFixBook.com. If you could hold that book up for us one more time.
Yes, sirree. There
There
you
it
go.
is. There's the book. Go and get it. This has been episode 75, Golden Mike Live, with your boy Marc Cordon and Aicha. This is my final thing that I have for you.
From Paradise, Bahamas.
From Paradise and from Tampa, Florida, future home of In-N-Out Burger and Jolly.
In-N-Out Burgers. That was a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So my question is this to y'all, watching now or the replay. Number one, if you're feeling a 10 in terms of the happiness meter and you're living life to full fulfillment, my question to everybody watching is, what is your responsibility to change history for the better? This has been the Golden Mike. We're going to see you tomorrow. Peace out. Thanks, y'all.